Today on AMC Movie Talk, John and the panel discuss the Hobbit trailer, James Gunn directing Guardians of the Galaxy, The Rock's Pain and Gain, and Thanos showing up in Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers 2, and a whole bunch more. So hang tight. AMC Movie Talk starts right now.
Welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. This is episode number 15, originally recorded on Thursday, September 20th, 2012, at the beautiful AMC Burbank 16 in Burbank, California. Thanos everywhere. Thanks a lot for joining us, folks. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. As always, I'm your host. My name is John Campy. I'm the senior editor of AMC Movie News. Joining me for this episode, first of all, sitting to my immediate right, she is the lovely and talented from IGN. She's Miss Amy Rose Eisenbach. Amy Rose, thanks for being back.
Me.
Sitting next to Amy Rose, he is, of course, a regular here on the show. He is the director of a popular animated series, Metalocalypse, as well as the upcoming The Grimm Fairy Tales, Mr. John Schnepp. John.
Yo. Hey, what's up?
And hey, listen, folks, for those of you who are watching this on YouTube right now, you can watch this show and follow us live every Monday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Los Angeles time. That's 2 p.m. New York time at www.ustream.tv/channel/AMC-theaters. But don't worry, you don't need to memorize that. You can see it right below me right now. Let's start off this episode the way we do with every episode. Let's get you caught up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news with our news flash. A few weeks ago, we reported that director James Gunn, who directed such films as Super and The Amazing Slither, was being considered to helm the upcoming Marvel movie Guardians of the Galaxy, the film that will lead directly into Avengers 2. This week, Gunn took to his Facebook page and finally confirmed that he is indeed going to be leading the new film, saying, "Last night, I got the go-ahead from Kevin Feige to let you all know that yes, I indeed am rewriting and directing Guardians of the Galaxy. No further details were given. Guardians of the Galaxy hits AMC theaters in 2014.
Clint Eastwood directing Expendables 3. A short time ago, Expendables producer Avi Lerner said he talked to Eastwood about possibly appearing in Expendables 3. However, when asked about it, Eastwood said, "I haven't read any material, probably not." Eastwood, however, then followed up by saying, "I'm probably more apt to direct something. Maybe I'll direct Expendables 3. Is he serious? Is he joking? I guess we'll wait to see.
Totally serious.
Clearly, one of the funniest performances in the hit comedy Bridesmaids was given by Melissa McCarthy. Now, while McCarthy is quite busy with her hit show Mike and Molly and her upcoming films The Heat and Identity Theft, it appears she may be making some time for The Hangover Part 3. Variety reports that the actress is in talks for a quote-unquote smaller role, with no further details being given. We'll keep you up to date as to when we learn more. The Hangover Part 3 is scheduled to open in AMC theaters everywhere on May 24th, 2013.
Michael Bay's upcoming film Pain and Gain has just released its first poster, which you can see here. Bay, who directed such films as The Rock, Armageddon, and Transformers, leads the project starring Mark Wahlberg and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as two bodybuilders in Florida who get caught up in kidnapping scheme that goes terribly wrong. Pain and Gain is scheduled to be released April 26, 2013.
Casey Affleck is reportedly set to star in the upcoming true story film titled Race to the South Pole, being produced by his brother Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. The true story is about two explorers in the early 1900s and their pursuit to be the first person to reach the South Pole, which is the last uncharted territory on the planet at the time. Casey Affleck already worked once with his brother on Gone Baby Gone with fantastic results. More details as they become available.
If you saw the Avengers, and you better have at this point, you know that the Marvel mega-villain Thanos appears at the end of the credits as the true master behind Loki and the alien race, the Chitauri. It is now being reported that Thanos creator Jim Starlin has confirmed that the villain will appear in both Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers 2. It was not revealed if he will be the male antagonist in both films, main antagonist, or just make an appearance in one. More details as they become available.
And that will do it for your news flash. Before we get into some stuff here, I just want to point something out. I love Step Brothers, and I just have to share this because I think it's so awesome. So we're having this little, a very small Step Brothers party at my place on Friday, and my wife, Ann, ran out and bought some stuff for it. So first of all, she bought this little toy boat and a bunch of those snacks, ho-hos. And she put them on a plate and surrounded the boat filled with ho-hos. She calls it there. It's boats and hose. And then she bought this big plastic sword, hung it on the wall, and autographed Randy Jackson's name on it.
Oh, man.
I believe there will be some karate in the garage afterwards. I'm not real sure about that. But
So which number is this, the 5th or 10th Step Brothers party you've had?
This will be the 3rd that we've had. We do about
Solid
once
number.
a year.
It's a good woman you got there.
Oh, it is. Oh, I love this movie. I'm so excited about this party. Anyway, let's get into some movie news here. Yesterday was the day. Now, last week, Peter Jackson took to his social media channels and told the world that, hey, on Wednesday the 19th, we're going to have a brand new Hobbit trailer to show everybody. So yesterday it comes out. I'm surprised that it didn't break the internet. I really thought it would. So, by the way, tip of the hat to Apple for upgrading like their server capacity, because I got on there and downloaded the Hobbit trailer, no problem,
Me
first
either.
try.
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was, I don't remember if it was the Dark Knight trailer or something. Last time I tried to get a trailer the moment it came out, it was like I had to wait for a half hour for it to download. This was like, boom, got it. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the technical aspect of that. The Hobbit trailers come out. It's the first real trailer that we've had now, of course, about 7 months ago. That first kind of teaser trailer came out, but really, I mean, I wasn't very impressed with it because, I mean, there was nothing they could put in it yet. They were still shooting the thing. They had basically hardly any effects
That
done.
song was awesome.
The song was awesome.
I was like, man, I want to see them sing that song, the whole part of it, instead of just the minute that they had in the trailer.
But you had to keep in mind, and I had to keep in mind that they had a very small amount of stuff they could put into a teaser. So whatever. I said I'd wait till the first real trailer came out. The first real trailer came out. John, let's start with you. You had a chance to see the trailer. Your thoughts on the Hobbit trailer?
Fantastic. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see that weird, crazy rock monster. It looks really like epic.
It's nice to see that rock monster get more work after Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, I felt like, he's like underemployed. They were I was waiting for Galaxy Quest 2.
I just rewatched that again. I freaking love that movie. Galaxy Quest is
Galaxy
so good.
Quest 2 should be made like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's going on. But yeah, the Hobbit trailer was fantastic. It was great to see Gandalf and all these characters, plus the brand new guy.
Right.
Agreed. I loved it. I mean, Peter Jackson does this world so well, and like it was so vivid, and I loved seeing Schmeagol, and like I loved it. I'm so excited for it.
I said this in a little review video we did of this thing yesterday. I very rarely use this term. Very, very rarely use this term. And as I explained yesterday, I'm one of these like film critic guys where I have only, some film critics, if they even remotely like a movie, it's like they hand out 10s like it's candy on Halloween. 10,
Right.
10, oh, it's a 10. I've given out 5 10s in the 7 years that I've been doing this, or 8 years I've been doing this. 5 of them. So I don't use this word very often. Perfection. The trailer was
a good trailer.
absolute perfection.
Martin Friedman. Sorry, I'd space his name for a minute.
As
Martin Freeman.
as Bilbo.
Yeah. That's
who
the
looks,
new guy.
Who looks awesome as it.
Kate Blanchett looks amazing.
Looks amazing. Of course, having Elrond back and stuff like that. I mean, they're taking some liberties with the Hobbit film for the sake of the continuity of the film world, which I think is perfectly acceptable. I know there are some purists who are like, oh, you're changing this, changing that. Look, it's not changing the spirit of the story whatsoever. It's putting it into better continuity with the film world. So I think I applaud it. I think it's a great move that he's doing there. But it lets people who've never read The Hobbit understand what the basic story is here. The dwarves going off to get back their home. They enlist the help of the Hobbit. They're all going. He's going on an adventure. We get Smeagol in there. We see that there's adventure and whatever. I think the trolls look awesome, which is, of course, one of the real key, actually, incidents in the Hobbit is the encounter with the trolls. I just think it looks so good.
So good, so rich.
And that first shot, too, when the trailer first starts, it's just that wide shot of the forest and mountains in the background. I literally had to catch my breath. The moment that came on, I'm like, wow, that just looks so
I want to go there.
good.
Yeah, I think everyone in New Zealand, when they saw that first shot, they're like, boring. See it every day, right?
And one of the interesting things I thought about this trailer as well was I was very curious to see who they were going to cast, because of course, aside from Bilbo, probably the main character in The Hobbit is Thorin Oakenshield, the leader of the dwarf company. And Richard, I always mispronounce his name, but Armitage, I believe is how you pronounce Richard's last name. I was really curious to see how he would look and come across in it. He really is the new Aragorn. he's the new Aragorn for this. I think he came across great. He comes across as heroic and noble and bold. But what do you guys think of what we've seen of Thorin in the trailers?
For me, it's just hard to judge because, once again, it's just a trailer. So everything about the trailer was cut to perfection. Even the lead-in last soundbite of Gandalf as we get that flavor. It's like...
Oh, I love him.
So, as far as the trailer goes, I agree. It's an incredible trailer without ruining anything. They just show you a little bit of like what the story is roughly about. That's the kind of trailer I like. I don't like a trailer that shows you everything.
Yeah.
And then, and by the way, here's the last shot of the movie.
Exactly.
And then most trailers do that nowadays. They like cut everything in, and then you see part of the the ending.
They
or
showed enough to keep us really excited, but not enough that I feel like I saw the whole story unfold. And I'm an easy fan because Lord of the Rings is in my top 3 favorite trilogies of all time. So like, I just love this world. I love the characters, and I thought the trailer just showed enough to just like, I'm freaking out for the next, but not too much where I'm like, I've already seen it. So
see, I often have this debate with people. There are times when trailers get released. I'd say there's 2 opposing, completely opposite problems with trailers. You either have a trailer that just gives everything away, which we've seen a couple of movies do. Like, I'm one of these guys who thinks, thankfully, they don't do it as much anymore. But then you get some trailers that give you no even remote concept about what this movie is about at all. It's just like a flashing bunch of images. Like, that all look cool, but I have no idea what this movie's about. And I get into arguments sometimes online with people about when I say, look, this trailer was a mess. There's one very popular movie in particular I'm thinking of where I said, this trailer, okay, look, I'm looking forward to this movie too, but the trailer is a mess. Just admit it. It's like, no, like, you don't want trailers that give everything away. I'm not asking you to give everything away. I'm saying just tell me what the story's about. This Hobbit trailer is a perfect example of how to do it right. It introduced us to who these characters are. It gave us the basic idea of here's what the narrative is, and didn't give anything away.
Right.
That's how you do a trailer. And I am so super stoked about this. I am so impressed by it too. Trailer making, you can have really bad trailers to really great movies. Dread is a great example of that. Bad trailer. Awesome movie.
I can't wait to see that.
Which opens tonight, by the way, at midnight. If get out, buy your tickets, go see it.
Heads exploding in slow motion is what I've heard.
Go see it. Just go see it. But that's a great example of a bad trailer, but it's a great movie. But then a lot of times you have great trailers and horrible, horrible movies. Greatest trailer of all time, I still say, is the first trailer to The Phantom Menace. It's an outstanding trailer.
I think it was only because everyone was so excited.
I don't know, man.
If you watch it again, I watched it again like maybe a couple of years ago, and I was like, I remember when I saw it before the movie came out, and I was like, I can't wait to see this movie. And then now with the knowledge of how horrible The Phantom Menace was, then I watched it, I was like, I remember hating that. Oh, I really remember that part I super hate. Oh, there's Jar Jar. Full hate.
I think comedies are really bad as well because I hate when they reveal all the best moments, all the laughs,
all the
in trailers,
funniest, all the biggest laughs.
and then I still laugh, but kind of the momentum is gone. They should hold back a little because then there's no joke left.
But there is a real art to trailer making to sell a movie in 180 seconds. Go.
I think one of the best trailers ever made is Alien. The original Alien.
I don't remember the trailer.
Well,
did you see the trailer, the very first trailer for Prometheus?
Yes.
They used it
so
beat
good.
for beat.
Oh, really?
So good.
With that same that weird screaming
So
stuff. Because
good.
you're like, wow, that was very smart of whoever decided to emulate the Alien trailer with Prometheus. They did it beat for beat and almost shot for shot. So if you can go online on YouTube and see the first Alien trailer and the first Prometheus one, and they build up. I know a lot of people didn't like Prometheus, but as far as just
The trailer
trailers
was brilliant.
goes,
Yeah.
I thought
Another
Snow
great
White
example.
was good too. I thought that
The
was
Snow
a really
White
good
trailer was
trailer.
actually wonderful.
Really
yeah, that's
good.
right. Snow White and the Huntsman.
Yeah.
But yeah, Prometheus, another good example of a fantastic trailer with a not so great movie. All right.
guys, I finally saw Snow White and the Huntsman on Zune.
You had some. Yes.
Man, was I bored! Yep.
I liked it.
I liked it all the way up until that troll fight, and then just what happened? The movie just
not
dropped
gonna
off.
lie,
They're
that was a
sleeping.
little-
They're camping. It was like 25 sequences of them like, hey, let's rip off Lord of the Rings and have them walk over a mountain. Then they're sleeping and camping.
That part
it was
just
super
dragged, but
boring.
overall, I thought it was fun, and Charlize Theron is so good.
She's awesome, and the very last 5 minutes of the movie is incredible. Where she's like,
Yeah.
turns with the super, weird,
Ravens, and she's cool.
crackly black thing.
She
flying around.
saved Charlize Theron saved that movie for me into watchability. Like, I came out of it very disappointed,
Really?
but watchable simply because Charlize Theron was so good. I thought Chris Hemsworth was actually quite strong in it.
He's great.
But we're getting off on a massive
Right.
rabbit trail. It's time for us to move. But generally speaking, we all loved the Hobbit trailer.
Yes.
Yes.
Guys in the chat board, let us know what you thought of the Hobbit trailer. Do you share our opinion? Do you disagree with us? Do you think it had some weaknesses? Personally, I think it was perfection. Let us know in the chat board. And just in case you don't know, if you are watching us live, feel free to fire off some questions and whatever you want into the chat board. Back at the chat board desk right there is, of course, Camden Jackson.
Woo.
She's keeping track of everything on the chat board, and she will keep track of everything that you guys are saying. And you just had a bit of a car accident, didn't you, on your way here?
I did, yeah.
But nobody can hear you. Nobody can hear you.
They can't hear me? Oh, whoops. That would help.
Dazed
for
from the
that.
car accident.
Yeah,
I'm still a little shaky, okay? But Chatboard's been really supportive, and they asked if I experienced my first earthquake, which it was
There's been
kind of
so
an earthquake
many.
moment. But they're being very supportive, so thank you guys.
Okay, so
Job
you
chat
guys
board.
just keep
Chat
firing out
with me.
the questions into the chat board. Camden will
Cut
keep
me
track of
some
them.
slack this morning.
Camden will keep track of them and bring them up a little bit later. Let's move on to the next topic here. I'm super excited about both of these pieces of news that we covered in the news flash. James Gunn. We talked about this before. There were rumors going around that Marvel was talking to James Gunn, who directed Super, which I think is kind of an underappreciated movie. I didn't jump out of my chair, love Super, but I liked it. I thought it was a very clever movie. And one of I think the most all-time underrated films, I think tied for Shaun of the Dead as the best horror comedy ever made. Slither.
I love Slither.
Slither is fantastic.
It's so good.
Watch
Michael
it.
Rooker is that and Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer were like his two best roles before Walking Dead, I think.
Yeah, I mean he's so good in it, and
Also, he's great in Cliffhanger, guys. Anyway, sorry.
it's just the bee sting.
Oh, man.
Like everything in that movie is so good. But anyway, James Gunn was being rumored as taking over to rewrite and direct the upcoming Marvel film, Guardians of the Galaxy, which is, of course, be the film that leads directly into the Avengers Part 2. So I guess it comes after Captain America, Winter Soldier,
And Thor.
Thor, right before Avengers 2. So James Gunn went to his Facebook this week and announced, yep, it's official. Kevin Feige over at Marvel Studios has said, I can now let you know I am rewriting and directing this film, which I am so stoked about. And before we get into that, just want to follow that up. As Amy Rose read off, the guy who created Thanos and actually still owns the rights to Thanos, the character, he was interviewed earlier this week, and he confirmed that they've negotiated out, and Thanos is going to appear in both Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, Thanos is, of course, the big bad guy who appears at the end credits of Avengers. He will appear in Guardians of the Galaxy and in Avengers 2, which I guess by omission means we're not going to see him. Some people speculate if we're going to wonder if we're going to see him in Iron Man 3, if we're going to see him in Captain America 2 or Thor 2. Apparently not. But we will see him in Guardians of the Galaxy and in Avengers 2. So, John, let's start with you. Your overall impressions, your thoughts about James Gunn officially being on to direct Guardians of the Galaxy.
He's an awesome director. He's a comic nerd. He's perfect for it. Also, he's friends with Michael Rooker, so hopefully Michael Rooker will play Rocket Raccoon. James Gunn loves Rocket Raccoon, so it's like I think it's a home run. However you want to describe it, it's perfect. It's a perfect match. So
I agree. I'm really excited about it, and you know that he's going to do it right.
yeah, I mean, you know, how many different directions Guardians of the Galaxy could have gone in, even with under Joss Whedon. It's like getting James Gunn to do this. It's perfect. So
Because we talked about this before, but with a property like Guardians of the Galaxy, I mean, you can get any movie wrong. There are so many ways to turn Guardians of the Galaxy into a complete disaster.
Yeah.
We've talked about that before. I love it. But this is interesting, too. I watched an MTV interview last week with Nathan Fillion, who we have talked about this before. And Nathan Fillion said in the interview that he had just had dinner with James Gunn, where James Gunn told him that, yep, I'm on to do Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, MTV then asked him, so are you going to be in it? He said, well, you know, I'm not the kind of guy where a friend tells me great news and now I suddenly want to start talking about me. I just want to talk about him and his good news. Plus, I'm really grateful right now for this great job I have with Castle and all the work I've had.
How humble.
He never said no.
right.
So wait a minute. He asked you if you are now going to get. We've speculated about this before. Of course, Nathan Fillion has starred in Joss Whedon properties. Of course, Serenity, Firefly.
Yep.
He also
He's
appeared
also
in
in
Buffy the
Slither.
Vampire. And
Slither.
he starred in Slither with James Gunn and did PG porn with James Gunn, the online series, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, very funny.
Look it up, PG porn by James Gunn. Look
I
it up.
haven't
It's very
seen
funny.
There's absolutely no porn in it, guys.
And
it's
Nathan
PG
Fillion.
porn.
How
It's
misleading.
so funny. And so we speculated before, you and I, John, about, well, could we see Nathan Fillion pop up? And I just thought it was really interesting. They asked him directly, so are you going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy? He didn't say no. He just said, well, I didn't want to talk about it with him at that time, and I'm very happy with what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. Nathan, you never said no.
Way to admit.
Now, I originally thought we'd see him in the Marvel Universe's Ant-Man, which I'm not psyched about at all. And then you brought up a much better alternative.
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord.
Totally. Gunn, we know you're doing it, dude. It's happening.
Nathan Fillion, for those of you who know, Star-Lord is the guy who organizes and is the leader of Guardians of the Galaxy. Nathan Fillion is Star-Lord. I love it. I love it. But okay, now let's cut to this. Let's cut to Thanos. What kind of role could we, knowing that he's now going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy and in Avengers 2, so clearly he doesn't get beat in Guardians.
Yeah.
What do you see happening with Thanos here?
It feels like a setup, like in terms, like maybe even the end credits. Like we don't know how much they're going to show him, but they're obviously setting him up for Avengers 2. So
Right.
I think it's going to be like a little teaser. Thank you, John. A little teaser, and then we'll get the real big payoff in Avengers. That's kind of what I think is going to happen.
I think he's going to be a little bit less of a teaser. He'll be woven in,
Yeah.
but he won't be the main. I mean, he's the main threat, I think. In my mind, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy has to be about the Infinity Gauntlet, those gems, Warlock, Death, all these themes that will be then, and the Cosmic Cube. All these things that they have already introduced will be in Guardians of the Galaxy in some form and pay off in Avengers 2.
The Mad Titan's so badass. I'm so excited for him.
And it is interesting, though, that it was said in the report that he is going to be in both. It didn't necessarily say he was going to be the main antagonist in
Yeah.
both. So
I
mean,
think he'll just be like a thread, like the Emperor in all the Star Wars movies. He's going
Right.
to be like moving the chess pieces, and then he'll get revealed in Avengers 2. They'll have to fight him. Or something.
So here's a question that I didn't think about previously. Let's say he's not the main villain in Guardians of the Galaxy, the main antagonist, as it were, and he's more like a puppet master like he was in Avengers. Clearly, we'll see more of him in Guardians of the Galaxy than we did in the Avengers, just the end credits. If he is the puppet master in Guardians of the Galaxy, whose strings is he pulling? Who could we see as the people he's manipulating or using as who will be the main antagonist in Guardians? Who do you think that could be?
I would love it to be either the High Evolutionary or Korvac.
Korvac.
Getting sweaty.
Who's the main guy from the Kree again?
Ronan. I believe.
Ronan.
Yeah.
Oh, no, something the Enforcer. Or something the.
I thought it was Ronan the Enforcer.
Is it Ronan the
Yeah,
Enforcer?
he's like
okay,
the big
right.
green
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they're going to bring in the Kree. I mean, it's sort of weird because once you open up the Marvel universe,
It's
as far as
unleashed,
the whole cosmic
yeah.
universe, Nova. What about him?
Yeah.
I
Don't
mean,
you have to
there's-
keep a little bit of a leash on it, like keep it ranged
little
just a
bit.
little bit?
I think
keep
they'll probably
making
just
movies
like in
forever.
Avengers, how they had those screens on Shield, and you're like, oh, they're like, there's Wakanda and there's this. They're
Right.
going to throw all that. There's going to be like some Starjammers reference. There's going to be. That's what I think. The Shi'ar. There's going to be references in the dialogue. Hopefully, while James Gunn is rewriting this and watching this show, like throwing in references to all these other sweaty nerd tidbits. But you don't actually have to show it. You could just mention it or show it on a screen.
I bet they can't use the Shi'ar. I bet they're going to consider that more connected with the X-Men universe. And
Really?
They probably can't.
Somebody on chat roll is saying Scott Porter wants to play Nova in the Guardians.
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of actors that want any role at all in the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm sure
We
if you
all
talk
have
to 100
dreams.
actors, they all want
I
certain
guess I'll
roles.
be in Avengers if somebody asks me.
No, but it is funny. This is just a little thing about a little pet peeve of mine of a lot of movie sites. It's like, oh, this such and such actor says he'd like to play in this upcoming sure to win Academy Award winning movie things.
Of course.
That must mean he's going to be in it. It's like, no. Actually, the only time I remember that something like that was a story was when Samuel L. Jackson got on, I believe it was The Tonight Show, when the prequels for Star Wars were still in the planning stages, and he got on and he basically talked to the camera, says, George Lucas, please, for the love of God, put me in the Star Wars movies. And that got him a job. But I think that's the only time
Yeah,
that's
Lucas
ever
was
actually
like
happened.
sitting in his pajamas. Mace Windu, just instantly. There was like a commercial afterwards for like some mace spray. He's like, I know, mace, and then some Windex. Mace Windu.
I'd like to
You know, he comes
be.
up with
I'd
names.
like to be the next Black Widow. Can we do that?
Yeah, there you go.
That'd be
Amy
great.
Rose, next big
Let's do
story.
this.
Amy Rose Eisenbach has said she would like to play
Forget
Black
Scarlet.
Widow in the start, and therefore,
And
it's
I
I'll
will play the
any
slab
of the
like
superheroes.
Hulk.
How about that?
Or,
I'll play anyone.
I mean, any role
Any of them.
whatsoever.
Even a male character. I can take that on.
But okay, so let's talk about Avengers 2 for a second, since we're on key here. Now, obviously, James Gunn and Joss Whedon have a pre-existing relationship. They know each other well. They get along really well. We know that there is a thread. There is our connecting thread from all the Phase 2 stuff. Guardians of the Galaxy going into is going to be Thanos. So clearly we know about what that's going to be. How much of a role then do we see the Guardians of the Galaxy, who are cosmic level characters, versus the Avengers themselves? Well, I guess Thor is a cosmic level character. I've read some speculation that you could see Thanos and Red Skull in Avengers 2. Be that as it may, John, is somebody who knows more about comics at this table than anybody else. What do you think we're going to see in Avengers 2 now? With this news, what do you think that means for Avengers 2?
It could mean Avengers 2 will bring in the Red Skull. I mean, it's sort of like, why confuse the issue of Guardians of the Galaxy throwing Red Skull in there when obviously Captain America's in Avengers 2. So
Right.
I think the Cosmic Cube, or the quest for it to power the Infinity Gauntlet, will be resolved in Avengers 2. And I think the Infinity Gauntlet and all those gems are going to be part of Guardians of the Galaxy. That's my guess, you know.
And like you said, if they release too many characters, where does it end?
Right. I mean, Avengers 2, you could have Thanos, Red Skull, you got Loki, you know.
Do you think well, now looking backwards, do you think in Thor 2, like if you're right and Cosmic Cube becomes, or the Tesseract, the Cosmic Cube becomes a significant player in like Guardians of the Galaxy, do you think then in Thor 2, the Tesseract, because we know that at the end of Avengers, Thor and Loki took the Tesseract back to Asgard.
Right.
Could we see the Cosmic Cube play a role in Thor 2 and ultimately being lost from Asgard? Could that happen?
It's a great, and then end credits little trailer or whatever.
They love those.
Slap the Guardians in there or something. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I could see that. I would hope that the Cosmic Cube doesn't play a large part in Thor 2, and that they stick with Malekith and the trolls. That just sounds awesome. And all those pics I've been seeing online look fantastic. So
I love Loki. He's such a good character.
Beta Ray Bill, Thor 3. I'm sure that's going to happen. Right, guys?
Oh, it's all
better,
gonna happen.
so.
There's gonna be trilogies of all
I
of
don't
these.
think we're ever going to see Beta Ray Bill.
Really?
Yeah, Beta Ray Bill. I mean, Beta Ray. What a name.
If Chris Hemsworth is going to be in the movie, I would see about 7 Thors.
Yeah, good to go.
Oh,
Can just keep going.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Why this trilogy bull stuff? You know?
Yeah, let's do like 7, 8,
Yeah.
9, 10.
And I like 7 too. It's not like, well, it's 2 trilogies. No, it's 7. Because he said so. I agree with him or her, whoever.
And
said
I would
that.
like to play opposite him in that. Just throwing that
And you
out
know,
there.
when you say him, you must be talking about Warlock.
No.
Because Adam Warlock was originally him, the cocooned dude in Fantastic.
I do want to point out, though, I saw Thor in theaters 7 times.
Wow.
5 of those
There's your
times.
7.
5 of those times, my wife Ann came with me. And
So
each
you must
time,
have hated it, right?
Each time that point in Thor happens where he wakes up at her place and he comes walking out and he's not wearing a shirt, the sound radiates from beside me, and I turn around and I'll look at Ann staring at the screen like this.
Ah, he's so hot.
He's like, suddenly I feel very insecure. But anyway, let's move on to the next story.
Well, then
here.
we're like,
okay, you can
we've
never
got-
be him.
Yeah, we've got Kat
Don't
Dennings.
even worry
you
about
know?
it.
Yeah, we
There
got
you
Kat
go.
Dennings. He.
Meow meow.
Let's-
Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
Meh.
Let's move on to this. There's so much drama that's surrounding this upcoming Michael Bay film, Pain and Gain. Now, for those of you, let's get into the grander story here a little bit before we get to what's going on here right now. First of all, this is something I mentioned, that a new poster, the first poster for Pain and Gain has come out. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. I'm going to turn my computer so you can see it. The one in the middle
Wow.
there is the poster. Now, Pain and Gain is the new Michael Bay film starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Mark Wahlberg, who have both, the picture you see up right now is both of them
A steroids
on set, having bulked up quite a bit because they play bodybuilders. Interesting drama surrounding Pain and Gain as the story goes. And I have not sat down and talked to Michael Bay about this. This is simply how the story goes, but take it with a grain of salt. As the story goes, Pain and Gain is a film that Michael Bay has been trying to do for years. That much is fact. He's been wanting to get this done for a very long time, and it's had difficulty getting the studio, Paramount in particular, to greenlight it and to give him the funding for it and to go ahead and do it. From what I understand, now at the same time, Michael Bay said after Transformers 3 that he was done. He was not going to do any more Transformers movies, and Transformers 4 would have to be done with somebody else. Very curious that very close together, it was announced that Michael Bay was indeed returning for Transformers 4, and Pain and Gain was given the green light to go ahead. I mean, the obvious speculation here is that they backed up a dump truck full of money to Michael Bay's house, as well as a little piece of paper that says, here's your coupon for letting you do Pain and Gain if you'll do Transformers 4. Once again, I've never heard Michael Bay confirm that, but that is the story that goes around that kind of makes sense. Speculation on our part. But let's get to Pain and Gain here for a second. About two bodybuilders. What we know is is based on a true story, from what I understand. Two bodybuilders who get caught up in a kidnapping scheme that every movie synopsis has to end with this phrase, goes horribly wrong. Something goes wrong. Let me start off with this. I love Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
I do too.
I don't think there has ever been a human being to walk the face of the earth with more natural charisma than this guy. I mean, I remember the first time I interviewed him, I walked in the room. Besides the fact that when I was younger, I used to watch wrestling. So I used to love watching The Rock. Best mic skills in the history of professional wrestling was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Him and Roddy Piper. Close for best mic skills ever. And, you just instantly like this guy. And you know what he does? He makes you feel like you're his best buddy in the world. Like, and so you sit down with him, and he talks to you like you've been friends for years.
He's a charmer.
Like, he's so bloody charming. Like, I am.
So it makes you
I think I have a
more?
little bit of a guy crush on The Rock. I think I have to admit it to myself. I think I have a bit of a bro crush on.
I loved him in
Dwayne
Fast 5.
Wasn't he great?
He was
in that?
awesome.
He was awesome.
And look, Mark Wahlberg. I give Mark Wahlberg knocks sometimes. But the fact of the matter is, he has through a lot of hard work, he has developed himself into a really true actor.
He's a great actor.
And I remember when it first really dawned on me, this guy isn't just kind of a good guy on screen. This guy's actually a legit actor now. For me, was The Departed. When he was playing opposite Alec Baldwin in The Departed.
That last scene, too, with him.
So
good.
Yeah.
So good.
And he can do comedy, too.
Yeah.
He really can. I loved him in I Heart Huckabees, and he's great. He's really diverse.
What's the film he just did with Steve Carell and the main writer girl from SNL? Why am I forgetting her name? I love her.
Tina Fey.
Tina Fey. The one with Date Night. Is that what it's called?
Okay.
He has a relatively small part in that. Not exactly a cameo. It's much bigger than a cameo. He was so funny in that.
His shirt's off, and what does he do? He helps them hide, takes their car.
You are going to make sex with us? Like, that was just so funny. And I didn't think he was brilliant in The Other Guys with Will Ferrell, but I thought he was certainly competent in that.
It just missed for me.
I think it shows he's really a good actor.
Yeah. And The Fighter.
And put these two, I think this is first of all, putting now Mark Wahlberg into a Michael Bay film. That to me feels odd.
Yeah. Dwayne feels like that could work, but Mark should be interesting.
Dwayne, but look, Cannon, bring this picture up again.
I brought it up quite a few times.
Look at
I just can't stop looking at it.
Look at The Rock.
I mean, somebody on the chat board said, when did The Rock become the mountain?
Oh, I like it.
I mean, he's just so charismatic. I'll see anything that this guy's in.
Even with wings on.
You know there's going to be a lot of shirtless scenes in that movie.
Well, they play
the Stone
bodybuilders,
Wahlberg.
Right? And Wahlberg, I mean, look, obviously he looks tiny next to The Rock, but he's really bulked up. Looking. So, it feels weird to say.
And he's got street cred, so.
And I'm going to say this right now. I am a Michael Bay defender. Yeah, he's made some total crap. No denying it. But like we talked about before, he made Armageddon. That's a guilty pleasure of mine. He made The Rock. That movie's awesome. I loved the first Transformers movie.
The Island we might not want to talk about.
Right. Yeah, we don't want to talk about. I know there are some people that really love Bad Boys 1 and 2.
I love part 2. It's amazing.
I'm on board. I look at this film, Dwayne Johnson, Mark Wahlberg.
It's just Dwayne. Let's be real.
I'm on board.
You're good on Dwayne.
But so your guys' impression of this film, like from what you know about it up to this point, is this one you think in your head, I'm going to take a pass on this, or it's like, I want to see this?
I mean, the poster, literally the first thing I thought was steroids. Like, I know they're bodybuilders, but like that's just such a funny poster. Like, it's just silly.
My question is the poster the just the protein shake?
Just the middle part. Yeah, the middle part is the poster.
The photos are just on there for our pleasure.
Yeah, I just put in the photos on the side.
The poster
That would
is
be hilarious
ridiculous.
if
then.
that was the movie poster.
that would at least make it better, but just like the protein shake. But like, I do like both of them. I think they're both good actors and charismatic. And like Michael Bay, I probably would defend him less than you do. Like he's made some duds, but you know, like you said, The Rock, classic. Like there are a lot of really good films that he's made. Yes, I would see it. Opening night, probably not, but like I would see it. I want to see more about it though, especially more posters, because that one doesn't hook me.
I think this film, just from what I've read about what Michael Bay wanted to do, you know, when he didn't even mention this film, I want to do something that's not action based, that's more drama.
It's time.
I think that's what this movie is going to be. It's not going to be car chases and explosions. It's going to be like definitely in the gym drinking the creatine and all the weird, like, you know, bodybuilders club, all those guys hanging out, get to know them, then they get involved in some, you know, maybe
what goes horribly wrong?
Yeah, the poster should say crazy hijinks ensue instead of, you know, and then bad things happen or whatever, you know. But I think it'll probably be a lot more drama based and less like, you know, surface acting, which is a lot of Transformers and the bigger budget movies where you never really get into the characters' lives or what motivates them. It's all this kind of surfacey, oh, I'm married and have issues. Oh, action sequence, explosion. This will probably be like
more hand-to-hand combat and
yeah,
less
I just think
like,
my guess is it'll be a little harder edged, a little more realistic, a little grittier. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's not a glossy Hollywood film, which it shouldn't be. This is my feeling about it. So if I'm wrong, whatever.
It is odd, though, when you look at that, because everything you just said makes total sense. The poster is of a big protein powder thing with a giant bicep.
But it's great because that's what all those things are. Creatine, like super weird. Like if you see any of those ads, it's like a giant, like extra ripped dude with like 500 veins.
Is it Magic Mike? Is it action? Like what's going down here?
Either way, I really do hope they go in that direction. But either way, even if they don't, I'm on board for this. Let's move on to this here quickly. We mentioned last week that Clint Eastwood was mentioned by the Expendables producer that he said, I've already spoken to Clint Eastwood about maybe appearing in Expendables 3. Now, Clint Eastwood, having been interviewed, as was mentioned in the newsflash, said, yeah, I haven't read the material and probably not. That's disappointing. I'd like to see Clint Eastwood in an Expendables movie. I think that'd be really funny. Obviously, he can't be running through the jungle,
right?
But that's fine. But then he brought up, and maybe he's joking. But he says, maybe I'd direct Expendables 3.
He's joking.
You think it's just pure joking? You don't think maybe he's throwing something out there a little bit?
Well, I mean,
don't
that would be the weirdest movie to watch in the world.
Movie.
Plus him like saying, I haven't read the material. What's the material? One page?
Explosions.
Expendables 3. Yeah,
Done.
Explosion. Yeah, 17 dudes
Clever
running with
comment.
firing.
Explosion.
Yeah.
You know, like it's
Head
funny.
explosion. Car explosion. Building explosion.
Hot babe. Explosion. Like it's just funny.
So it begin with like Sylvester Stallone, like out in the like some country, like backlit, just black figure, like burying someone, slow wistful music, him narrating, it all happened, like really slow. It would be like, what's happening? So anyway, I would see Trouble with the Curve if they would just add a chair in that poster. Like he's like leaning out, and you just have this empty chair. Then I might go see that movie.
Speaking of bad marketing, I mean, I think that, Justin Timberlake, who has great star quality, and Amy Adams, right?
Are they in it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm sorry, Clint, as a director, you've had some misses too, but I do like him overall. He's Clint. But I think just him is not going to sell that movie.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, anyway, hey, listen, but we're going to get to the mailbag here in just a second. But before we do, a couple things I want to mention. We are giving away a lot of great stuff over at the AMC Movie News blog. And that's at amctheaters.com/movie-news. amctheaters.com/movie-news. And if you go there, you're going to see one of the top posts right now is kind of listing out all the giveaways we're doing. Here's some of the giveaways we're doing right now on the Movie News site. A Steven Spielberg, Harrison Ford signed Raiders of the Lost Ark poster with a prize pack.
Awesome.
As well as a marathon poster signed by Karen Allen. We've got speaking of Trouble with the Curve, we've got a Trouble with the Curve prize pack on there right now. We've got a Jennifer Lawrence signed poster for House at the End of the Street, which opens at AMC Theaters tonight. We've got, this is a big one, End of Watch is partnered with AMC Theaters to bring you a year's worth of free movies, so you can win that.
That's amazing.
Also, if you're into Channing Tatum, as I know some people in this room are, you can win a Channing Tatum personalized outgoing voicemail message for you.
Yes.
Promoting the film 10 Years he's got. So once again, go find that post on all the giveaways we're doing right now. You can find that at amctheaters.com/movie-news, and you can get all the details there.
Great prizes.
Now, this is kind of cool. I mentioned that House at the End of the Street, which is opening, the new Jennifer Lawrence, Elizabeth Shue, and Max Thieriot film, opens in AMC theaters everywhere tonight at midnight. Now, yesterday, the star of the film, Max Thieriot, actually came by our studio yesterday to sit down and talk to us about the movie, about Jennifer Lawrence. Now, we talked for about 10 minutes. We're just going to show you a 3-minute segment of that. You can watch the whole thing on our AMC Theaters YouTube page at youtube.com/AMC Theaters. But for now, check out my conversation with House at the End of the Street star, Max Thieriot. Greetings, film fans. John Cabe here with AMC Movie News, and I am very pleased and excited to be joined by Max Thieriot, who is, of course, starring in the new film House at the End of the Street, opening in AMC theaters everywhere this weekend. Max, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
First thing I got to ask you about is, well, let's start with this, actually. For people who don't yet know much about the film, tell us about House at the End of the Street.
Well, House at the End of the Street is a psychological thriller starring myself and Jennifer Lawrence and Elizabeth Shue. It's one of these films that really makes you think a lot, and there's a lot of suspense, a lot of awesome twists, and I think it keeps everyone guessing throughout the film. So I think it's something that everybody's gonna like, and it's got a lot of the stuff that obviously scares you and makes you jump in your seat, and at the same time it has some new stuff in there, which I think is interesting for the genre.
Now, you get a chance in this film to work with two women who are like icons for different generations. You, of course, got Jennifer Lawrence, and you've got Elizabeth Shue. What's it like working with those two ladies in a film like this?
It's awesome. I mean, first off, Jen is fantastic. She's this, southern, like, small town, easygoing, laid back. She's into football and it's just a lot of fun to be around and hang out with. And, of course, obviously, to act opposite, she's amazing because she's a fantastic actress. And Elizabeth is awesome. I mean, she's been through all sorts of different things in her career. The way she describes it to me is she's, had incredible highs, incredible lows, everything in between. And because of that, I think that she really gets the business, and she gets how everything works, and that makes her such, I think, just a good person, and especially in this industry.
Okay, I'm going to get you to put a salesman hat on for a second. For AMC theater goers who are looking forward to coming to the theater this weekend, why are they going to love House at the End of the Street?
I think there's a lot of reasons. I think, obviously, first off, that everyone's going to love House at the End of the Street because it is something different. It's something new. You're not going to see the same old, thriller horror film that you've been seeing for the past few years in a row that have been sequels and trilogies and everything of. And I mean, those are fine, but I think this is great because it's something totally different. Obviously, Jennifer Lawrence is a fantastic actress, and so I think a lot of people are obviously going to want to see what she has just followed up The Hunger Games with. And, I think that it's a story where you're really rooting for people and you're pulling for them, and at the same time, you can sit in your seat and you're going to be entertained. You're going to be scared, and you're going to have that aspect.
And Max Thieriot is in it.
Yeah.
That's a really good reason.
I'm in it, yeah.
Well, listen, Max, congratulations on the film. We're really excited about having it on AMC screens, and I can't wait to see it again. Thank you so much.
I'm really excited. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Thanks.
And we are back. Don't forget, folks, House at the End of the Street. You can get your tickets for it right now at amctheaters.com. Go see that tonight, or go see Dread, whatever. Just get out to the movies this weekend. Once again, get your tickets at amctheaters.com. It is now time every week. By the way, we take a section of the show to take your questions from the mailbag. You can email us anytime, 24/7 at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Those questions come to us, and then we pick out some of the best ones to address here on the show. Obviously, we don't have time to do all the ones that come in, so apologies if we don't get to your question, but we do get a bunch of them. And Cannon's got a bunch of them picked out at the back. So, Cannon,
I do.
What do we have?
Let's see. Our first email is from Bryden, which is a cool name. Hi, John and the Movie Talk staff. You guys are awesome, and I really enjoy watching your show. Thanks.
Hey.
My question is, well, I've heard that the Justice League movie is not going to be in the same universe as the other DC movies. So that means we'll see new actors playing the roles, including Henry Cavill's role being recast. What? No. No, they can't happen.
Yeah.
So they're not going ahead with what the Avengers did by building it up in each character's movie. What are your thoughts on this idea?
Okay, first of all, it has not been announced officially anywhere that they're not doing a continuous universe. That hasn't happened. I know some people have speculated that, and that could be what happens ultimately, maybe. But let's just set the record straight right now. As of right now, officially, that is not the case. As of right now, we don't know if they are going with a continuous universe or if they're not. So, that being said, let's assume for a second that they go ahead with a continuous universe where they have one guy playing Superman in Justice League and another guy, Henry Cavill, playing Superman in the Superman movies. I've gone on record and say this. Absolutely stupid.
Agreed.
Absolute nonsense. It wasn't going to work when they were doing it with Mad Max Boy. It won't work now. There's no reason to have a hopefully successful Superman franchise going with Henry Cavill and then suddenly switch gears and have a completely different Superman under the same studio. It's nonsense. Now look, I'll say this. When I first heard the whole concept of the new Star Trek film, by new I mean the one that came out a few years ago, the first J.J. Abrams one, I also thought that was stupid. I thought it was a ridiculous idea.
But I loved it.
Yeah, and I ended up loving it.
too.
So I'm sitting here telling you right now, doing a non-continuous, a non-continuity Justice League universe is an absolutely stupid thing to do. That doesn't mean it couldn't turn out to be awesome.
Yeah.
I just think you're lowering your chances of it being awesome. That's my thoughts on it.
Same.
Amy Rose?
Same. And the only confirmation for sure is that Christian Bale's not going to be Batman. Like, that's done.
Yeah.
We know that for reals. But the rest, like we could see, completely agree. You know, we love these characters. They come to life. We want to be able to, completely identify with one throughout the whole franchise of sorts. So
Why
I
give
think it's
yourself
dumb.
2 chances to fail?
Yeah.
I got
it's dumb.
a good option. Make 2 Justice League movies. One which is in an alternate universe, and it's got the gay Green Lantern. So you're like,
no.
look, the one we're using, we've got Ryan Reynolds, and then in the other Justice League movie, also called Justice League, they're just both called Justice League.
I'm so glad
you have
you
an
brought up
alternate
Green Lantern.
Earth where it's like, we got the weird old Superman with the gray, and all he can do is jump, and you got the gay Green Lantern from now. It's
That
all
is
mixed
so
up.
ridiculous that they're making him gay now. Like, not that there's anything wrong with
No,
that,
it's not,
but all of a sudden,
no,
to like,
it's actually like a ruse. They've tricked everyone. It's not
Really?
the actual Green Lantern on our Earth that's gay. It's like some alternate, like
That's
Planet
so
7,
ridiculous.
like from the old Green Lantern from another alternate Earth. So,
But here's the thing that really confuses me. DC has trouble. Warner Brothers and DC have had problems getting those DC characters right. They obviously had some struggles with Green Lantern. They obviously have had struggles with other characters they've tried to do in the past. Why on earth would you give yourself 2 chances to fail? Like, let's have 2 Supermen.
Yeah.
You're going
Right.
to mess up one of them. Let's have 2 Green Lanterns. Let's have 2 Wonder Women. Let's have 2 Batman. You're going to screw up one of them.
Yeah.
Put all your energy and effort and all your best stuff into one character and just have a continuous universe.
yeah. And the
Start
diehard
with
fans
Justice
are not
League.
going to be stoked at changing, what we thought was.
Yeah, exactly. Let's say Superman, the Man of Steel, is a big hit. You're just going to piss off those fans going into having another Superman who's not Henry Cavill.
Yep.
yeah, and a brand new origin. Like, why
Yeah,
not waste
and I'm
another
not-
20 minutes
I
on having
just-
an
Ridiculous.
origin
I don't
of the
understand-
other alternate Superman?
I don't understand the logic behind it whatsoever. And once again, they have not said they're doing this. So I'm probably getting all riled up for no reason.
Right.
But I'm
it's
saying
fun to
if
get
they
Easy to
riled
do.
up.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, let's move on to the next question. What
They
else? we
cannot
got?
be that stupid to recast.
I hope
I
not.
think
My
they
man.
can.
My
We shall
man,
see.
No, please don't. I'll throw it out there. I would like to play opposite him as well in this movie. Thank you.
Marvel prevails once again.
I shall play the fat brainiac.
Okay, the next email is from Ezra. She says, love the show and watch every episode as soon as it goes up. My question is, what do you guys think is the funniest film of 2012 so far, including films that aren't strictly comedy? That's interesting. I.e. Cabin in the Woods, Avengers, etc. My personal pick is Ted, which made me laugh hysterically from beginning to end. Not normally the biggest Seth MacFarlane fan, but really knocked it out of the park with this movie. Keep up the great work.
I agree. Ted was hilarious beginning to end. I went in there with managed expectations. I do like Seth MacFarlane, but I didn't know how his big screen debut would be. But I thought Ted was hilarious. I loved it. And Cabin in the Woods wouldn't be the funniest movie to me, but I loved Cabin in the Woods.
I guess
John?
Snow White and the Huntsman to me was just, a barrel of laughs. Like about 50 monkeys. If I was going to take a barrel of monkeys and say it's chocked full, like crammed with monkeys, and a couple are trying to escape, so let's say 52 and 2 have escaped, I'd say it's 50 monkeys.
I'm going to name 3 that I thought were really, really funny. One will be completely unexpected. Steve Harvey's Think Like a Man. I actually thought that was...
I did not see that.
I was shocked that I liked it as much as I did. I thought that was quite funny. And then it's a real close race for funniest of the year for me between Ted, which is just brilliant. I put it in my top 3 movies of the summer, this past summer. I thought it was so funny. And 21 Jump Street was another one that shocked me.
Awesome.
I was not expecting that one to be funny at all.
Channing was great.
I'll completely agree with you on that because I wasn't even expecting anything.
Yeah.
And then I watched it. I laughed out loud a whole bunch of times. I think, that's really in the top 10.
The scene after they took the drug and they're like,
their tongue is
like,
like, your tongue is sticking out. Like, just crazy.
Channing Tatum at the chalkboard.
Yes.
F you, math.
Science.
Or F you, science. That's
so good.
It's just so. And you know who wrote and directed the film? The guys who wrote and directed Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. And so I remember thinking, look, first of all, 21 Jump Street is an obsolete, forgotten show.
Right.
Channing Tatum is not that good of an actor. That's what I thought at the time. I just don't see this going anywhere. And it's got these guys who just did a family cartoon. Come on. Yep. Channing Tatum has found his niche.
Incredibly funny.
Comedy. He is brilliant at comedy. I've gone from being a really big Channing Tatum skeptic to being a very big Channing Tatum fan in one film.
I know, right?
Because he found his groove. And you know what was that one? The one he did with Kevin.
The Dilemma.
The Dilemma. Thank you. He had a small part in The Dilemma doing comedy. And I remember thinking, he's like the highlight of this movie. And then he did a full-blown comedy with 21 Jump Street.
Great.
Big fan all of a sudden. But yeah, I would agree with Ezra. It's either Ted or 21 Jump Street. I like them both so much. They made me. But also, if you haven't had a chance, seriously, it's on. You can get on DVD now. Check out Think Like a Man. It'll surprise you. It was much better than I thought it would be. Anyway, what else do we got?
Superman. Some people, this is from James, by the way. Some people might not realize this, but Amy Adams already has a Superman connection prior to Man of Steel. She was a guest star in an episode of the first season of Smallville as the kryptonite-affected girl who sucked the fat out of people. That's
perfect.
I could use her.
Keeping things on the Superman train, do you think Lex Luthor should be introduced in a Man of Steel sequel, or should Superman's archenemy be kept off the table a little longer? And is there a specific Superman villain you really want to see in the sequel? For myself, I'm dying to see Brainiac used in a Superman film.
John, let's start with you on that.
I'll start with what I don't want to see is Mitzelplick. I don't want to see that dude.
Don't want to see the
You gotta say my name backwards. You know, no. I'd love to see Brainiac. We already know Zod's in it. You know, there's gonna probably be a big pre-Krypton. You know,
but we're talking about a sequel. If there's a sequel to it, what would you like
if
to
there's
see?
a sequel to this Superman that's coming
sequel
out,
to Man of Steel.
Definitely Brainiac. Bring in Parasite. I mean, there's a lot of different characters. I mean, Lex Luthor, of course. I think he's going to be introduced in this.
Yeah.
I think Bradley Cooper's playing Lex Luthor. I remember hearing that.
That's interesting.
It was like
casting.
a secret.
I did
little
not know
secret
that.
thing he shot. Sorry if I'm spoiling stuff.
No, it's
Spoilers after I said it. But yeah, I think he's playing Lex Luthor.
I'd like to see
just
him
in one
go
scene.
in a darker kind of role like that. I think that'd be good. But I did
happening.
like Kevin Spacey as Lex. I know a lot of people hated, Superman Returns, but like I liked him as Lex.
I loved him as Lex. I didn't really love how Lex was written.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Kevin
as soon as
Spacey
we
can
saw
do-
Kevin Spacey
So good.
in that Austin Powers movie with the bald head, it's like everybody knew that's Lex Luthor, and he could have been brilliant. It's just that it wasn't really.
Yeah.
I still don't. I don't know if Brainiac can work. I don't know. I mean, he's a great character. I just don't know that is. I don't think most people who aren't real versed in Superman, everybody knows who Superman is, but don't know the lore of Superman, know who Brainiac is. They all know who Lex Luthor is. I think you got to go with Lex Luthor at least in part 2, and then maybe bring in Brainiac.
Yeah, introduce him in a more realistic way. I think, having him like be a planet monster showing up on Earth is a little goofy. Like,
right.
I think if you add the human element to Brainiac, it'll be a really good villain.
All right, what else we got?
All right, last email is from Tanisha. She says, "Hello everyone, I love the show. You guys are the only reason I would like to forward that why I would look forward, not like forward. Look forward, that's a typo, to a Monday and Thursday. Thank you very much. Just wanted to say that I totally agree with John that there should be a sequel to The Incredibles. Now, with that being said, since there are no plans to do a sequel, what do you think, or do you think they will ever bring The Incredibles back to the movies in 3D like they have with other Disney Pixar films?
Well, John mentioned to me actually a few weeks ago that he believes he heard that Pixar is starting to develop an Incredible sequel.
I hope so. I loved Incredibles.
Yeah. That's just audible Viagra to me, hearing that. Like, I love that idea so much. Now, but even if they are developing a sequel, I guarantee they'll bring The Incredibles back in 3D. They're having such success bringing back Lion King, bringing back Finding
Nemo's
Nemo.
coming,
They brought back the Toy Stories. I think they will. And you know what? It's not, and people say, oh, it's just money grab. First of all, everything in the movie business is a money grab, so just get that out of the way. But the second thing is this. People are loving it. You know, I talked to some people who went to go see Finding Nemo with their kids that never had a chance to see it before, and they said it was like one of the best movie-going experiences they've ever had. I remember I talked about this a little bit. Last year I went to go watch The Lion King and its re-release, probably my favorite theater-going experience of that year. I mean, these movies are just so good and so cherished.
And they're made to be in 3D. Like The Incredibles done in 3D would really truly be incredible. I want to see Cars 7 be the next sequel, and then they could work their way backwards so we get those 7 Cars movies that I really want.
Oh man, Lightning McQueen.
All right, well that'll do for mailbag. Don't forget, guys, you can see it on the bottom of the screen there in all the emails. You can email us. Send us an email at amcmovietalk@gmail.com anytime, and we'll see if we can get to your question next time. We'll pick out the best ones and we'll go with them from there. For now, I want to know what's been going on the chat board. Cannon's been keeping her eye on the chat board. You guys have been talking to her. So, Cannon, what we got going on in there?
Well, everybody has been asking, what are the 5 10s that you've given out?
Right? I want to know, too.
Everybody wants to know.
All right, I'll see if I can. One of them, by the way, is one I would retract, but I gave it a 10 at the time, so I have to stand by it.
Interesting.
The first one I believe I ever gave was Amelie. I think that was the first 10 I had ever given out.
That was
Tattoo
totally
is a doll.
agree. Totally
She's
agree.
a doll.
I gave a 10 to Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. I gave a 10 to Up.
Loved Up.
I gave a 10 to, and this is the one I would retract because it loses a lot on multiple viewings, but I just remember being so impressed and having my mind so blown on a first viewing, was Borat. Both from as a social
That is not a 10.
as a social commentary, both from humor and as a social commentary, the way he kind of held up, he never said anything about us, he just held up a mirror to us, and I thought it was brilliant and
What would you give it now
and
if you regraded?
I'd probably give it about an 8.
Okay.
Because it loses a lot of multiple
You
viewings.
should have
I give it
like
like a
two
7.
different, like one is like one time only viewing 10, and the other is multiple viewing 10.
Holding up.
That's
Because
actually a great idea.
Yeah, because Borat to me, I laughed so hard, I loved it, and then I watched it a second time. I was like,
Yeah, agree.
some movies are
I
made
laughed my
just to
butt
see
off
once.
the second time I saw it.
Yeah, I still
I think
laugh.
I was
but-
offended the first time. I think I didn't like it the first time, and then I watched it a second time and I laughed a lot.
But see, I remember the brilliance about the movie was that, see, I could never feel offended by anything in it because he never says anything in it. He just holds up a mirror
He
and
is a
lets
smart one.
people do their own thing. And it's like, it was
scary.
fascinating
He's
the
like
way
the
he
modern
did it.
Jacques Tati, you know.
Yeah, and of
Kinda
course he did
scary.
a lot of stuff in his television stuff, but still, it was really fresh for movies, and I thought very brave and very creative. So I was down with it, and I'm struggling right now. Maybe guys who, if you're in the chat board, you've been following me for a while. Maybe you guys can tell me
Jog his memory.
what is the 5th one I gave a 10 to, because I can't, but I know there have been 5. I just can't remember what.
Wasn't
the
it
5th one
Oogie
is.
Loves? I remember you talking about. You're like, man, I really feel weird about giving it a 10. If I could give it an 11, I would, but I got to stick with 10. Right?
And by the way, I mean, there are more movies in history I would give 10s to, but I'm just saying, in as long as I've been doing movie blogging, and those are the 5 I've given. I mean, obviously, I give Bridge Over the River Kwai a 10. Obviously, I give Lawrence of Arabia a 10. Obviously, I give the original Spartacus a 10.
Frankenhooker, 10.
Shawshank Redemption gets an 11.
Yes.
Obviously, there are those
Usual
films,
suspects.
but just as long as I've been doing it, I've given 5 10s. That's over about 7 years, I think. Anyway, what else we got in the chat board?
Well, before we get off let's get the superhero questions out of the way. This one is from I'm God, worship me.
Okay.
That's
Do it
pretty
up.
weird.
How do you think the S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show will tie into Avengers 2?
Honestly, don't care. I mean, for a couple of
don't
reasons.
care either.
Here's why. Number one, I'm still extremely, no matter what gets said and who announces what, I'm still extremely pessimistic that it's actually even going to happen. That being said, talking about what comes out, what's going to be happening on television is kind of outside of our wheelhouse. Like, we're here to talk about movies and what's going on in the movie world. So while I appreciate the question, and there is a tie, obviously, because it's the S.H.I.E.L.D. universe, it's the Marvel universe, I'm not even going to really address it simply because I don't even think it's going to happen, and it's kind of outside of our wheelhouse here.
Cool. And what do you think about Man of Steel not being put into the same universe as Justice League?
I mean, I think outside of what I said, obviously, about having multiple guys playing the same character, which I think is just stupid, I'll just stick with that. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It would be ridiculous. Like,
Wait a sec. What if
what if?
Here we go.
we release 7 Superman movies?
We're
and
on
they're all
number
origin
7
stories.
now.
They're all origin stories. So we get like, this one is a J.J. Abrams one where Krypton's still around. Then another one, Krypton exploded, Superman went to another planet, and then comes back to Earth to mess it up. So you have like the evil Jesus Superman, you know?
What if he goes to Mars?
It
comes back as John
What if
Carter?
he goes to Mars and dies, and then the whole movie's just him dead?
John Carter.
That's the whole
It's not like Curiosity finds him.
And a different Superman in each of the 7. Done.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The only thing worse I could think of doing like a Superman's not part of the continuity of Justice League is to do a Smallville Tom Welling Superman. That would be the only word. And I was a fan of Smallville.
Are you?
I watched the show. I liked the show, but it wasn't Superman at all.
Now, was that a contractual thing they couldn't show him as Superman at that last episode? Like, remember, it was like
Well, I
you
remember-
just see a little cape, and then, or you just see like these little wispy
didn't
things.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
They used the John Williams score.
Right, it was
in
so
the last,
weird.
But they said through the whole series, they always said right from the beginning, we will never see him in the suit. And I think they allowed themselves, I think that's just from their own decision. Then I think they allowed themselves to kind of glimpse at it as a final shot. I think you had to end the series. But it would have been a total mistake, a total devastatingly horrific, tragic mistake for them to do a Superman movie, but the Smallville version of it, because they're totally different characters, they're
I
totally
never
different
watched
worlds.
Smallville, but I watched
Neither.
like that, like the Justice League one that had like Hawkman.
With Hawkman, with the guy from Stargate
that's the one I
SG-1?
watched. I was like, oh, that was cool. And then I watched that last episode.
Yeah, for the last episode to mean anything to you, I think you would have had to have watched
Sure.
the series. I think the show kind of fell off the wagon after season 7, but some people think it fell off the wagon even earlier. But for somebody who appreciated the show, I actually thought it was quite a nice ending. But
Do you see Kristen Kirk's popping up in TV again? Beauty and the Beast, they're making a TV show.
I don't know. Honestly, after she did that Street Fighter movie, The Legend of Chun-Li, I thought she was done. Which is unfortunate because number one, she's a good Canadian girl, if I'm not mistaken. But number two, I think she's actually pretty watchable. I think she's pretty watchable. I think she's got some natural charm and charisma to her.
Well, she probably just got jacked on that movie. Like, it sometimes it's such a roll of the dice. You sign on, like actors have to sign on to a bunch of movies once they're like, hey, I'm hot right now. It's like, no one's going to know who I am in a few years. Like, I'm off on a TV show. I got to sign on. She got jacked on that movie, so she's back on TV. Then she'll roll the die again, like in a couple of years.
I was Chun-Li for Halloween one year.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Big Street Fighter fan.
I think there are a lot of people who'd like to see that. All right, let's take one more thing from the chat board.
Last question. Lincoln, go.
Yes, I got chastised last show for not talking more about Lincoln. Okay, it's I don't know why I didn't make it one of the major topics last week, let alone now. The Lincoln trailer came out. Look, I have been saying, I got a big argument with two of my co-hosts, with Jenna Bush and Roth Cornett, over saying, look, you've got to put Lincoln at least near the top of your anticipated films list. It's Steven Spielberg. It's Daniel Day-Lewis. It's like this epic period piece with one of the most fascinating characters in North American history. How can you not be totally just, I don't know. Like, I kind of already know what the story is, so there's nothing unexpected. What? I mean, Spartacus dies at the end of Spartacus. I didn't take anything away from that. And then the trailer came out. It's breathtaking.
Yeah.
I thought the trailer is just breathtaking. It looks so good. I am so fascinated. It's about a man. I mean, that's the thing. It's about this man in an extraordinary time doing extraordinary things. And I think we need movies like that. And the fact that it's being crafted by Steven Spielberg, who I know it sounds just almost like it's a cop-out to say, but I truly believe he is the best filmmaker ever. He's dropped a couple of duds, but I think overall, when you look at his body of work, I think he's the greatest filmmaker ever. You look at Daniel Day-Lewis. I contend in the top 2 greatest performers alive today.
No question. He was born for this role. Like him in that Lincoln trailer, like he was incredible. Everything about him. Like I'm
he spent
really
like
excited.
2 years developing this character.
Yeah, and that's what he does. And like he makes everyone call him Mr. Lincoln, and like just completely
He's a
gets
method
in it.
actor. So
very method.
Like he almost went insane doing There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I said this before, I will say it again. I do believe Russell Crowe is the best actor working today as far as pure acting talent goes. That being said,
Bold statement.
The performance Daniel Day-Lewis gave in There Will Be Blood, I contend is the best single performance in the last 10 years.
He drank so many milkshakes
to
get into that. He's like, I gotta stay in
Amazing.
character. Another strawberry.
That movie was very powerful. Johnny Greenwood, the score, Paul, Thomas Anderson,
Fantastic film.
amazing. I loved it.
But yeah, Lincoln, it looks so good. I cannot wait for that film. I think besides The Hobbit, it's the movie I'm most looking forward to now between now and the end of the year.
So did he redeem himself, Chapboard?
Does that make up for it?
All joking aside, I want to see Franklin, the movie about Ben Franklin.
That would work.
But done as a superhero, alternate world with Superman involved.
Number 7.
Franklin is playing Mitzelplick.
I thought you meant Franklin, the current senator of Minnesota, who used to be on Saturday Night Live. There you go. All right, folks, that will do it for us. We got to wrap this thing up. Don't forget, once again, you can join us every Monday and Thursday live by visiting us on our YouTube stream. You can see the address below me right now. You can join us and email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. But listen, folks, this is the important part. By all means, please hop on over to our YouTube channel, which is at youtube.com/AMC Theaters, and click subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That'll keep you up to date not only on every episode of AMC Movie Talk, but all of our news videos, our editorials, our celebrity interviews. You can go see the full interview that I did with Max Thieriot right now. That's up there near the top of our YouTube page. So jump over there and subscribe right now. We will once again be back on Monday, I guess, because today is Thursday, right? Yeah, we'll be back on Monday. Once again, I want to thank the lovely Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Thank you.
The even more lovely John Schnepp.
Why, thank you.
Cannon Bliss Jackson sitting back to the board.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Cannon. And of course, as always, the puppet master running things behind the desks, off camera, Mr. Dennis Zen.
Yeah, Dennis.
And to you for joining us. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Make sure you join us again. Until then, my name's John Campia. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button below. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and join us at amctheaters.com, and watch one of our other AMC Movie News videos below.